I need to get this. Oh, I need that popped out. So how do I get rid of that and still show the stream chat?
Oh my god!
Are we super loud? Rowdy?
No, it was Twitch audio. Like you know how like as soon as you get on Twitch, like there's something playing.
Yeah.
Well, it was like ridiculously loud house music
Oh,
playing,
gotcha.
and I literally almost just peed on myself, dude. I'm not even joking. It was oh my god. My heart is fucking racing right now.
Okay,
Shit.
I can't get rid of that completely. All right. We got the stream chat over there. It's not the prettiest thing, but it'll do. All right. Okay, so is it up and running?
I'm pulling it up now. Twitch is doing something weird, and it kept
Okay.
only putting it in the bottom right corner. Yeah, it's up and running. You got the three
Can we hear
windows. Oh, hang on.
That's the thing I'm worried. I'm pulling it up on my end too. Because I don't have speakers technically hooked up.
Okay, yes, it is. It is. There. But our audio is there, and
Okay.
and it sounds good.
Sounds kind of quiet. I'm just pulling it up on my end. Oh, that's because it's trying to play speakers through my other thing. Okay, let's see if that works. So is it just like super duper quiet?
Is it quiet? No, man. It's good on mine. Well, oh, hang on. I also have mine turned up like all the way. Maybe that's why the
Yeah, I
house
do
music
too.
was so scary.
I do too, but it's not sounding loud enough. Let me see if I can pump it. Yeah, it's definitely quiet on my end. I can't tell who is you Rowdy or who is past Rowdy. Holy cow. Future and past Rowdy are messing with my head. All right.
Holy crap!
What? Ah! All right. Okay. Bumping it up. Oh, Skylar's here. Hey, Skylar. We're trying to get things working. How does the sound? Because we're doing a whole new system. And trying to get this to work out. Sound is great. Okay, so it's just me. Okay. All right. Let me close Twitch so I don't hear myself from the past. Hey, Skylar, we have a big show coming up. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, no crud. All right. I have two computers now running. Rowdy, how's background noise on my end? Because I do have mega computer down here running.
All your background noise gets cut out because of Discord.
Lovely. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not too bad. I'm sure it's gonna be more present than in the past, but we've warned our listeners that we're gonna have fans. By the way, I have a giant new fan. I can't bring it over there. Just for over here, but I'm not gonna play it during the show. I'm just gonna get progressively sweatier.
Pretty much.
Okay. Let's see. I think we're about ready to start this party, aren't we?
Yeah, man. I'm pulling up Logic now so I can record.
Okay, let me pull up Audition. I just tweeted out. I just trumpeted the call for Gondor, or maybe some people to come check out the show. It's one of those two. All right. No, my AC is not out again. It's just this corner is the devil's corner. And this is where all the heat in my house apparently just sits. So we've had to get extra fans because there's no movement. Like that fan up there, it looks pretty, but it ain't doing crap. So, yeah.
Doing nothing.
It's the devil's corner. Hey, Harper. Yeah, I'm sorry I can't hear you right now, Harper, but thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. I got my stuff going. Let me mute some things. And we're about to get started. Trying to mute my phone. Hey, if you're just dropping by, we are in the pre-show. We'll be starting the party soon. You will not hear fancy music or anything yet. I have not figured that out. I barely figured out how to use a computer to get things streaming. And so just kind of expect. I know this is like really, really I don't know. This is like a caveman's Twitch at this point. I've seen what other people do. Like I look at the Lamppost Gaming and all these other good streamers that are friends with us on Twitter, and everything looks so beautiful. And I'm just like, yeah, I kind of rigged this together with some wire and some duct tape and some bubble gum.
My name Travis. I use OBS.
I know how to use OBS. I'm a good streamer. I'm professional. So it's a little strung together, and I've got a new setup, and I keep looking over here. So we'll make it better in the future. All right, man. This is gonna be a good show. It's gonna be a long show, I think.
Hey, you should click the X on that red thing at the top that says you're not getting.
I think it's just gonna keep coming back. Yeah, I know you can't hear me. Don't show me this warning again. Okay. See, then it made the chat go away. There we go. That is kind of lagging. Yeah, I can't help that, unfortunately. That's funny. I love that he knows that term. Okay, it says streamer mode is enabled.
Oh my god. Why does it always have to have something at the top?
They just gotta tell us. Okay. All right. I think it's time to start the party. Rowdy, you ready for this? I guess I got to hit record, huh?
Maybe that would help.
I'm supposed to do 44100, huh? Okay.
Yeah. If not, my computer freaks out when I try to make it not 44100. I mean, when I try to make it 44100.
Okay, we're calling this the Lamer Gamers Direct, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
People listen to it. They click everywhere just to see when they hear direct. All right. I'm ready to clap. Are you ready to clap? Tell me when you're ready.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, count it down.
All right, clapping. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, Lamer Gamers. This is Simply Travis and
Ready 5000
for the Lamer Gamers podcast. And in today's episode, we'll be talking about the lovely, very calming Devolver Direct. The Treehouse Live, along with the craziness that followed said Treehouse Live, Xbox Series X rumors, a smidgen, tiny little portion, maybe with a slight garnish. I've been watching a lot of Hell's Kitchen lately, so that's I
dumb.
A smidgen of PS5 rumors, and in the bonus point section, we're going to ask, what are your thoughts on next-gen games costing $70? Followed by a lot of comments from our friends of the podcast and all sorts of people on the Twitters. Also, we'll be discussing some games we've been playing lately. Rowdy, you've been playing Animal Crossing, right?
I mean, since the day it came out.
Yeah, so he'll tell us about the summer update and how that's going. I've been playing Warface on Switch and Greedfall, so we'll get into that when we get to the impression section. But now we're going to follow in the footsteps of the Devolver Direct and build up some hype for our podcast and our official Lamer Gamers Podcast Direct.
Direct.
we're going to be taking hype for our podcast, paying Google, Twitter, and Facebook thousands of dollars to load it into an advertising cannon, and we'll blast away your face with all the podcast hype. Nobody really cares if a podcaster is good or has a loyal following. No, you either had to be associated with a multi-million-dollar media company or pay for advertising. So we're going to go the low route, and we're going to advertise about how amazing our podcast is.
I mean, or we could just, get on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, that would be lovely. I bet our new segmented version of this podcast, Lamer Gamer Bites, gets on iHeartRadio first before the actual podcast. Anyway, Rowdy, are you ready for the most awesome, intense podcast that hits all the right notes of a money-making podcast?
IR Rowdy, IR ready.
Well, in this episode, we're going to talk about murder, conspiracy, and use all the cuss words. Maybe we'll even make some up.
I mean, I'm pretty good at making up cuss words.
Rowdy's excellent at that. And we'll talk about natural disasters, reality TV, and as much lowbrow entertainment news about celebs and YouTubers as possible. You guys ready for this? Let's get started.
So we still got to talk about video games, though?
Oh, yeah. Forget that other stuff. We just want people to download this. Who cares about making a good video gaming podcast anyway?
Oh! And time for cue the music.
All right. That was a fun startup. Skylar in the chat. Low burn. Sorry. If you didn't watch the Devolver Direct, go watch it after this.
I mean,
you're
missing out.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Don't watch it with your kids in the room, though.
Yeah, they're going to learn some new words.
They're going to learn all sorts of terrible things. Man, this new setup is driving me crazy because on this screen, I'm facing this way. On this screen, I'm facing that way.
Nerd.
It's just like I'm talking to myself whenever I turn this way over here. All right. All right. I guess whenever you're ready, we'll count it out.
All right. Hit record button here. All right. Clap in 1, 2, 3.
All right, guys. Before we get started, if you like what we're doing, don't forget to press up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, then start. Oh, and like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. Also, check out @LamerGamersCast on Twitter and throw a review down on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. So, news section. In this first thing we're going to talk about, we just got through watching the amazing Devolver Direct.
Dude.
It was... If you've never watched a Devolver Direct before, it is a mixture of absolute craziness with a kind of social commentary on the video game industry and gaming news industry and how video game companies release games.
Dude, they've had a story arc that's been going on for years now. Like, I don't know how anybody had planned this, but for real, you could watch all their E3 press conferences for the past few years, and it follows the same story, man. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's absolutely fascinating. And this year, Nina Struthers is the character that is the main one, and she's like completely it's a fantastic actress, by the way. It's like I really got to go look up like what she's in. And Nina Struthers is not a real name. I think it's Myra something. But she's apparently like they've got her hooked up to some sort of helmet, and they're running this whole thing through her brain and then pushing it to a TV screen out to everybody. Does that sound about right? Yeah,
well, because last year, or what is it, the year before, she was shot and killed on stage, and then last year was them trying to revive her, and she was pretty much in a vegetative state, and everything was kind of happening in her head. And then this year was her hooked up to basically like the Matrix, and then them trying to break her out of it.
Yeah, it's so insane. But, one thing that really caught me, we'll get to the news, what they announced in just a second. One thing that I thought was really good though about her acting skills, she's going through and she's like super angry in one scene, and then she like straight up cries mid sentence, like tears streaming down the face, like one of those signs of a really good actor. Which, by the way, later on, whenever we get to bonus points, we'll be possible actors. Get ready for that. Uh,
I don't know
but
about
anyway,
you, man, but I'm acting every day.
yeah, this is all an act. Rowdy and I, we're actually robots.
Pretty
Just
much.
yeah. Okay, Rowdy, let's talk about the news. First up, I think you've played this game, this series more than I have. Shadow Warrior 3 was announced.
Dude,
Uh,
I loved the original Shadow Warrior, like 90s Shadow Warrior. Just the ridiculous lowbrow humor and everything like that. It spoke to me as a child. So then they announced, what is it, the reboot of Shadow Warrior, I want to say back in 2012. Um, and it was a really good game. I mean, just over the top violence, gore, still that lowbrow humor. I have to say, I did not play the second one though. Probably be pretty cheap right now, so I should probably go check that out. But the
Probably
first,
on Steam sale.
probably,
Yeah.
but yeah, the first Shadow Warrior remake or reboot was absolutely amazing. You should definitely go check it out. You still have ridiculous weapons like in the first one, and it's pretty good. The original one was made by id Software and was basically just a reskin of Duke Nukem 3D. But these reboots, they've come into their own now.
And I'll say this, by the way, it's the Shadow Warrior 3 Way to Motoko trailer if you want to look for it. And they say it mixes bullets, blades, and a one spectacular grappling hook. The grappling hook and stuff like that makes me think of Metroid Prime a little bit whenever
I
I'm
don't
watching
know
that.
if I don't know if that grappling hook is new.
Mhm.
I don't remember it from the first one, and I didn't play the second one.
I
So
don't think
maybe
so.
that's new. I don't know.
It looked really good. The graphics on it were pretty fantastic in general. We'll see how the gameplay is, how the story is. I do remember the game back then may be somewhat offensive to people in lots of
Very,
different areas. So I don't know how. I mean, it's a Devolver game, so I'm kind of expecting that. But
yeah. No, the first one back in when id was making it in the 90s. I want to say it came out like 97.
yeah,
That one was super offensive, used super offensive accents and everything like that.
hmm
So yeah. I
be
think
warned.
they stepped away from that when they did the reboot.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious to see if this one's more serious. Let's see. Next up is Fall Guys. So it goes from, I was trying to screenshot Shadow Warrior 3 to put it on Twitter, and I'm trying to find the shot that showed the game without just blood and gore everywhere,
You're
and
not
I
gonna find
couldn't do
one.
it. I couldn't do a screenshot live and post it on the Twitter. Fall Guys, though, is on the opposite end of the spectrum. It is so happy and cute looking.
So this is
Um,
actually a battle royale game. I don't know if you knew that.
yeah, that's what it
Uh,
looked like. It just looked cutesy.
so it's upwards of 60 players. First off, it's coming out on PS4 and Steam August 4th. And if you pre-order on Steam, you get a Gordon Freeman headcrab costume from
Ooh,
Half-Life. But no,
fancy.
so this is like a real cutesy type art style. You play as these little guys. I guess they're called Fall Guys. You pick a color, and then you have all these obstacles that you have to get through. Um, and uh, I can't remember. I want to say the first video I saw of this. You have multiple obstacles that you have to make it through, and obviously it's less and less people for each stage. And then I think you just keep going until there's only one person left. Um,
Yeah,
but it looks pretty fun. I mean, I'm not big on battle royales, but that's the battle royale shooters that I don't like. Um,
right.
so
It
we'll
looks
see how
better
this
than
is.
Fortnite,
Oh, way
in my
better.
opinion. It looks to me like something you would expect from like a super intense Mario Party mini game, but with a million players.
Have I ever told you about the screenplay I wanted to work on that was basically a farcical movie, a comedy movie that was based off of the Expendables, but every character was a little kid, and then it was going to be like rated R and just full of gore and cursing, but the bad guy kids were going to be named after video games, and the main bad guy kid was going to be Fart Night.
That sounds amazing. We need to stop talking about this so people don't steal your amazing idea, Rowdy.
Yeah, I need to tell you about this, but it
Talk
involves a lot
later.
of cursing, so I won't talk
Yeah.
about it on this one.
Yeah. We'll talk later. All right. Next up is I don't know how to pronounce this.
I,
Olija?
that's what I think.
Olija. It says it's a story about facing the unknown and adversity with an ultra badass mystical harpoon. That's what they wrote, so I'm going to say it. Excited to be partnering with at Skeleton Crew Stew. It's going to come to Nintendo Switch and PC this year. Which, by the way, I'm noticing something here. These are games that are dealing with exclusivity quite a bit because you have Fall Guys, which is going to be on PS4 and Steam, not the Xbox, not Nintendo. And then you have this game, which is going to be on the Switch and PC. I mean, they're all coming to Steam, apparently. I'm
Yeah,
wondering if it's just like a timed exclusive thing. And Devolver walked up to these companies because they're obviously working really close with Microsoft and Sony and said, hey guys, we want to develop a game. Here are some ideas. What fits best for your company? I'm betting that's what they're kind of going for. But anyway, this game looks a lot like some of their other side scroller games. I did see somebody in the GW chat whenever this was live saying this looks like all their other 2D side scrollers. I think it looks good. I think the lighting effects and stuff they have on the game makes it pop a little bit more than some of the 8-bit side scrollers and things you see out there. But I really don't know a whole lot about the game. So don't have a whole lot to say. Do you have any comments on that one you'd want to make?
it just looks like a lot of the retro style games. One comes to mind, and I cannot remember the name of it. But it's very that blocky art style. Um, I don't know. I may pass on it.
Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out. But the next one I really want, and I'm super excited that I don't have to pay for it. Carry On. It's going to be releasing July 23rd on the Xbox One, Switch, and PC on Game Pass. Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, when they first talked about this game, I could have sworn it was only coming out for Switch.
Mhm.
So this might be um, something new. Of course, I could be making all this up. I don't know. But
So,
yeah, I'm gonna play it on Xbox just because it's gonna be free.
so Carry On is basically you are. Have you ever seen the old movie The Blob?
Yeah,
Okay. This is essentially what this is, but kind of grosser. You play as an evil amorphous blob that runs around and destroys everybody. And apparently, you have tendrils that can go up and latch into people's brains, and you play as them to get through different things, like as a puzzle. I think it's a really smart concept. It's, of course, based off of like horror movie stuff. So,
they've called it a reverse horror game
yeah.
with heavily influenced by was it John Carpenter's The Thing,
Yeah,
that
the thing, that's what I'm thinking of.
that 80s movie starring what was it, Kurt Russell? Dude, movie was so good. But yeah,
Yes.
it's a reverse horror game.
Was there an old one called The Blob, or was it The Thing
Yeah,
back in
no,
the
there was a
black and white
Blob,
movie?
and
Okay.
there was a remake of the Blob.
Gotcha. So this is a blob thing. That's what this game is.
Yeah,
But anyway, I've had my eye on this a while. I thought it might have already released. Some people were saying that they were talking about a sequel during this already. I'm not 100% sure on that though. All right, next up, Devolver. Once again, I was mentioning Devolver does this direct, and it's always a social commentary on gaming culture, on these big gaming companies, and how they announce games, how how they work with people to hype. You know, if you listen to our intro today, we were making fun of that too, with podcasts and hyping. But it said they released a game called Devolver Land Expo as a replacement for E3, or showing this is what happened to E3 this year. They put Devolver Land Expo is a first person marketing simulator set within an abandoned convention center after the annual Devolver Digital Game Expo was mysteriously canceled. Play the future's future of video game marketing for free. I love that it's for free and it's on Steam now.
Dude, that's so funny. Oh my god.
Yeah, they had Nina Struthers up there talking about how we're actually releasing games without hyping them and all this other stuff. It was pretty fantastic. I'm definitely trying that game out. I might have to try this out today. Like, I need to download it. I'm sure you're going to download it on your super duper fast internet you just got, right?
Oh my god, dude, my internet's so awesome.
Rowdy's been like, I've been downloading games in like 15 seconds, Travis.
Dude, for real. Like, I literally just download games so I could watch the download bar. That's it. I don't intend on playing them.
I'm gonna have to get the fancy fast internet to keep up with Rowdy.
Dude, it's ridiculous speeds, man.
It's like a gigabit internet or something you've just gotten.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Skylar was asking what type of internet do you have? It's a Spectrum, right?
Yeah, it's Spectrum's gigabit. They tried their hardest to get me on their ultra plan, which is only 400 bits, and I was like, no, I want the gigabit. I want the fast stuff.
Ultra plan makes it sound like you're in Power Rangers or something,
right?
Get the ultra plan.
But no, I got the gigabit plan. Now I will say it is a little bit pricey because they charged me a
arm and leg.
Well, I had to do like an installation fee and stuff. Installation, activation, all that junk, because they had to come out with like all new gear. I couldn't use my old modems and stuff like that. So yeah, I had to pay $200 just for setup and all that good junk, but totally gonna be worth it.
Rowdy's been texting me about it the last couple days. That's awesome though. All right. Then, if you watch the credits closely, Devolver did a sneaky. They announced, well, they didn't really announce, but they snuck in an Easter egg with No More Heroes 3. Is Devolver, do they work with No More Heroes? Or are they like a publisher?
I don't know, man. They're probably just like a publisher or advertiser or something like that.
Because I know it's like Suda51, right?
Yeah, Suda51's making it, but it's like a lot of the games that they announced, like they didn't develop them or anything. They're just advertising, production. I don't know what it's actually called, but yeah.
Yeah, well, so No More Heroes 3, if you've ever played it, it's it features a character named Travis Touchdown. And you have a laser sword, and it's all this pop culture stuff. He's into punk rock, or at least his hair and stuff is. It never left the punk rock era. It's fun. You ride around on a motorcycle, you get into big laser sword fights. It's pretty much what you would imagine a Devolver game would be, with kind of blood everywhere and maybe a little excessive violence, maybe a lot of excessive violence.
A little excessive violence.
Yeah. So somebody, people have been screen capping it, and they put it on Twitter, and it's like, the chase for No More Heroes 3 content is now becoming a constant Easter egg, which I think is kind of a fun way to announce things for a video game, and really works with this day and age where everybody's really just leaking things and saying that they're not leaks. Let's see. That is about it for the Devolver Digital. You ready to move on to the disappointing thing?
Dude, I'm so glad that they did not call this a direct.
All right. Paper Mario Treehouse Live, which had a teaser. Nintendo deliberately hyped us for something,
dude,
from Wayfair, and we'll go into what that is in a minute. But you should be totally hyped, let me tell you. that you're going to hear something from the company that made the game Shantae about a new game. Be totally hyped about it. Okay. All right. So I watched the Nintendo Treehouse live. It wasn't that good. You could definitely tell there were some issues with the stream between each person. Like Rowdy and I do a Discord chat with each other when we were recording these lately, and there's obviously some lag. I'm sure y'all could, you probably heard it in a couple podcasts recently to where like we do something and one of us is like a little bit slower.
Dude, their delay was bad.
Yeah, so it makes us look professional, and that's saying something. Anyway, so they showed off Paper Mario, or the Origami King. I keep wanting to say Mario Party. So here are just kind of my thoughts on actually seeing it, because we did a couple episodes ago what we believe the game was going to play like. And so now the gameplay makes a little more sense, and it's very, very similar to what we had actually theorized it would play like. When you're fighting, you spin the bad guys around on a concentric ring or a set of rings. If you don't know what that term means, think of like when you cut an onion in half and you see the rings of the onions, those would be concentric essentially. Now imagine that you can twist each of those onion rings individually. Okay, so I guess it's the best way to explain it with food. Now, when you line up these bad guys on these rings, the more damage you do is based on, or you get a damage bonus based on lining up the baddies. So it looked good. You can bounce down the line. Also, you can pay the toads to help you, which I guess is why there's so much money in this game. We had originally thought that the game was going to be based on an economy similar to what's it called? The last Paper Mario that everybody hates with the cards. Color Splash.
Yeah, there's Color Splash and Sticker Star. Man, those were
Those were bad. But anyway, you get a lot of money in this game, and apparently you can pay the toads to help you out. Now, they showed a boss battle that was with basically like a tin of colored pencils that were anthropomorphic to some extent. At least they could talk. And they shot out missiles. So the boss battles have like a bunch of icons, like treasure chests on the circles, hearts, power-ups, and arrows. And the difference between a battle with the boss and a regular character is the boss is in the center. Whenever you're playing a regular character, Mario's in the center and they're all coming towards him. So you have to essentially launch Mario along the arrows, and he picks up things and then goes in for the attack. You can use the 1,000-fold arms ability to do different things. Like Mario was closing the lid on the most explosive colored pencil set ever, and it would force it to shoot its colored pencil missiles.
So it blew up on itself.
Yeah.
Boom.
And it'd be very unhappy. So looks good. There is a lot of hype. Graphics look great. The dialogue looks good. However, I do have a problem so far, just based on what I've seen, and it could be I don't know if I should be complaining about it or not. The puzzles so far look a little bit uninspired. Apparently, most puzzles are solved by hitting origami objects with a hammer. If you've ever actually created something with origami and you hit it with a hammer, it would not unfold. So me as an art teacher, I have some issues with this. It's just too fake. No, not really. But
I was fixing to say, I'm gonna punch you.
It's not real enough. But anyway, so the thing though that really did bother me, like I was really kind of like, they just did that. So there's a puzzle where there's a little yappy origami dog that would not let Mario pass. So I was watching this thinking, oh
my God, yes.
Oh, this cute little puppy. I'm just gonna bring him a bone or give him a treat, and he'll just scurry off, and he'll be all happy, and the world will be right, and rainbows will come out, and the plants will shoot out confetti. Wrong. What do you do to this dog to solve this puzzle?
You smack the dog with a hammer.
You hit him with the hammer, Nintendo! Why? Why would you do such a thing? I mean, it solved the puzzle, but I was not expecting to see something I'd expect from The Last of Us 2 in a Paper Mario game.
Yeah, dude.
Uh,
But at
yes.
least when you hit it with a hammer, you find out that it's just a folded up toad.
You are right, but man, I'm so conflicted. I
I
don't
have
want to
no
hit a dog with a hammer.
I have no problems hitting a toad with a hammer.
If it's a toad, that's okay. It just ain't right, man. So most of the puzzles are solved by hitting things with a hammer and filling stuff up with confetti. As you get through things, you get confetti and you fill in holes with it. A little uninspired. I'm assuming it'll get better because it was just the first level, which is that. So now we're gonna get into our Nintendo Doomed report.
Hey,
As y'all
real
know,
quick,
what's up?
I want to point out that the first two Paper Mario games are some of my favorite games of all time. The GameCube Mario and Thousand Year Door is probably one of my top 5 games of all time. It is an amazing game. And then Super Paper Mario for Wii, it was cool. It was crazy the way that everything worked. I really liked it. It was a lot different than the RPG series, like the first two. But then Sticker Star and Color Splash were turds of a game. So
Yes.
this one, like, I actually pre-ordered it today. So this better not be bad, or I'm going to never play another Paper Mario game ever again.
Don't do that.
Ugh. All right.
Okay.
Next.
So, now, going to Nintendo Doomed. As y'all know, every time Nintendo does something that's just not good or people are unhappy with something, the Nintendo Doomed Patrol comes out. They have been doomed to fail as a company since 1889. You know, disregard the fact that they have the best-selling system right now. They're doomed. All right. After the Paper Mario Treehouse live stream, Nintendo teased a new Way Forward game. I said Wayfair earlier. That's not right. Rowdy, you are more familiar with Way Forward. What are these guys known for?
Okay, so they've gotten their hands on a couple of like remasters and old titles and kind of made new versions of them. So they're the ones that are actually behind the DuckTales remaster. They did Double Dragon Neon, which is actually a really fun take on Double Dragon. They also did a River City game. I don't know if you've ever played River City Ransom or any of the River City spinoffs after that, but they did River City Girls, and it's really fun. That's one I've been playing. Well, haven't technically been playing recently, but it's the last Way Forward game I've played. But they're most, at least on Nintendo, they have Mighty Switch Force, which is a really good puzzle type game, but they are most known for the Shantae series, which is a really good cartoony platformer. I don't know if you've played any of them, but you totally should.
I got one off of the Xbox Gold. I haven't played it yet, Rowdy.
I think that one's Half Genie Hero. That's my favorite one. It's so good, man. Oh, you should totally play it, man. It's not one that like you have to stop everything right now and go play it, but I guarantee you, if you did start playing it, you're gonna put some time into it.
So everybody was thinking it was going to be a new Shantae game, or
No,
maybe
they just came out with a Shantae game.
yeah, but or it would be a new franchise with just as much charm.
Ugh.
Did we get that?
No.
No. We got freaking Bakugan.
Look, I'm gonna be straight up. I don't know what Bakugan is. Like, I went into this thinking it was, because I didn't watch the whole thing. All I did was watch the Paper Mario thing. Haven't had much time to look at stuff this week. But is Bakugan the thing where you have like they're like the little spinning metal discs, and you have to like knock them out of the ring?
Beyblades.
Nope, that's Beyblade. Never mind. I am totally wrong.
I hear another person that works in education in the background that's like, I know what these toys are.
Yep,
No,
that was
Bakugan.
my wife. I do not know what Bakugan is.
Okay, so I'll be honest. Like, Bakugan, I'm still, even having seen it, I'm still not 100% sure what Bakugan is. It really is a way for them to sell toys in the end, but it is,
But it doesn't even matter.
yeah. It's okay. So Bakugan, think Pokemon, but bigger Pokemon. It's always Gigamax Pokemon. Um, And it really, though, this version looks like a dollar store Pokemon Sword or Shield, or maybe Great Value, whatever brand you want to say that costs less. With the overworld, but you're mixed with the riveting gameplay of your character picking up laser frisbees and tossing them at the battling monsters. You
Okay.
apparently don't actually control, or you have to build up things with your frisbees, um, and click a button, and then they do a special move. I don't know. It looked really boring. I would much rather be playing as said giant monsters. But you could tell, like, the people in the live stream were just like, I'm paid to be here. This game is so interesting. We really wanted to catch the fact that these monsters are 2 to 3 stories tall. Yeah, that just looked dead inside. And I don't know how much of that was they were dead inside, or the fact that the stream was just rough because of the drop in quality on their end. But speaking of drop, they had dropped about half the audience whenever this thing started getting announced. I just kept watching that number go down uh, on the live stream.
I
So
mean, it dropped for good reason.
yeah, so why did they do this? Why the heck would Nintendo spend their time to prop up this game? And I think I know why.
I was fixing to say, I have a feeling you're about to tell us why.
Yes. So on May 7th, Reggie, Roddy's going to kill me if I say this wrong. Fils-Aimé.
Reggie Fils-Aimé.
I got it. I always say Fils-Aimé. He tweeted, what do I have in common with Bakugan, Hatchimals, Paw Patrol, Gund, Airhog, Sago Mini, and Kinetic Sand? Answer, I'm joining the board of Spin Master Corps, an innovative force in the global toy industry, a new way to make life more fun. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. I mean, some of those things are cool, I guess. Kinetic Sand's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like Kinetic Sand, but kids bring it around and it's just like a germ factory after about a week.
Ew.
Ugh. So what I think happened was Reggie's like called up Nintendo and be like, hey guys, I got a favor to ask you. You want to make some money? I want to make some money. We all love money.
He called him up and he was like, guys, my body is ready.
My body is ready and my wallet is too. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened here. It was kind of a weird announcement. Everybody was trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Lots of people have been like, Nintendo has, and that's the next thing we're going to talk about. Nintendo really has nothing lined up for us for the holiday season after Paper Mario releases.
Yeah, dude. Because I know we always make fun of all these people that are like, oh, Nintendo doomed. They have nothing else, but they really don't have anything planned after Paper Mario, or at least they haven't announced everything. But I have a theory. My theory is
Rowdy's theory.
They just don't want to announce something and then have to push it back like everybody else. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. But, I mean, I think a lot of people aren't announcing things just because everything's getting pushed back with everything that's going on this year. We haven't really felt, at least at game releases, we haven't really felt how much this is hurting development. I'm telling you, but about early mid next year, we're gonna feel it when there's just not as many games coming out because everything got pushed back or put on hold. Now me talking about this, I just realized that one of that zombie game that I now cannot remember the name of got delayed indefinitely.
Oh, I don't know which zombie game got delayed indefinitely. By Nintendo?
No, no,
Okay.
not Nintendo. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember the name of it.
Really?
But yeah, it's a really good. I loved the first one. This is supposed to be a sequel, and I cannot believe that it's been delayed indefinitely.
Is it the one where you got a motorcycle stuck in a tree?
No, that was Days
Okay.
Gone. Oh my
That's the
gosh.
only thing I remember about that game.
All right, Travis, take over. I have to look this up.
Okay, Rowdy's gonna look that up, and I'm gonna talk. Anyway, so that has essentially made everybody freak out that Nintendo is just not going to release anything, and everybody's worried. Now, there are reasons why this could be happening. One,
I've got it. I've got it.
Oh, okay. Well, let's
Dying Light 2.
Dying Light 2.
Yeah.
So they're not going to release it because of the gobbles?
It has been delayed indefinitely. That doesn't mean they're not going to not release it. It's just been delayed indefinitely right now. Because I've seen a lot of the game. Like, they pretty much have the game done. I guess they're in, like, the bug testing section of the game. Oh my God, Bugsnax is going to be so good. But that's another story. But yeah, so, I mean, the game is pretty much done. They just have to check it for bugs, I guess. Like, they have to put the lice shampoo in it before they release it.
I love your explanation for put the lice shampoo in it. That's fantastic.
Okay, yeah, sorry. So, yeah, Nintendo, sorry. Back to it.
Okay, so the reason why I think, though, they might be holding off is we have the big Xbox event coming up July 23rd. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. That's coming up. It'd be really weird to announce anything major right now. And you're about to have two major consoles fighting for your wallet, fighting for your hard-earned money, which is getting harder to earn at the moment. I think it's going to be really hard for them to maybe not necessarily compete, because if they release something, people don't go to the next console. It'd be a lot easier to spend $50. I just don't think it's the right time for Nintendo to hop in. I think they need to wait for this hype fight that's going on right now to stop for a little bit before they announce things. I think that's what they're trying to do. Because it's really hard to get in the news cycle unless it's a rumor. So
yeah.
All right, well, let's actually speak about some things Nintendo did release.
Finally.
Nintendo, yeah, I know. Well, I mean, they're old games. Nintendo Online had some of their, I want to call them bonus games. For the Nintendo Online service, they are releasing from the Super NES Donkey Kong Country, along with DKC classified information. I'm not 100% sure what that is. I think it's a way to get extra lives you can use in the game.
No, that was I watched that video. It's a video on how to put in a code to get extra lives, I think.
Okay. Yeah, there's always like a special mode where Nintendo lets you get to the last level, or they give you a cheat or something with these. But man, I love Donkey Kong Country back in the day.
Dude,
I remember
those soundtracks.
They were killer. And the thing with Donkey Kong Country, I remember it was like the introduction to seeing like pre-rendered 3D graphics, and they were so much cooler as a kid, to me, than the pixel graphics at the time. It was a really interesting way to see games, and it's really cool that nowadays games look even better on the fly, rather than pre-rendering, essentially copying and pasting the graphics into a program and running through a regular animation thing. Next up is Natsume Championship Wrestling. I never played that one. I'm definitely going to try it out, though.
Dude, I'm totally going to, man, because those old wrestling games, like, you don't really wrestle in the game. You wrestle with the controls. That's what the actual game is. All those old wrestling games.
Until, still, favorite one ever, WCW NWO Revenge.
Oh, yeah. What was
Best
it?
game ever.
World Tour was before that, but Revenge was the better one.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Skylar says Donkey Kong had the best soundtracks up in the Twitch chat.
Damn right.
All right, and the next game is actually a Nintendo game. I I played this game as a kid. I don't know if you've ever heard about Immortal.
I watched the video they put out, and it looks almost like Gauntlet or like an RPG or something like that.
It's very much an RPG, kind of Dungeons and Dragons-ish. It mixes, like you said, that kind of isometric view of something like a Diablo or an action game, but whenever you run into a bad guy, it goes into a fight sequence. And you can like hit, you can cast something, you can use an item. It is tough as nails. It is definitely an old school game, but the graphics at that time, they were pretty revolutionary for the original Nintendo system. Because of how tall those sprites were whenever you were in battle, and they were very high color. So it's actually a very pretty looking Nintendo NES game. Nintendo NES game. It's fun. I probably only got through like the first little bit of it as a kid because, you know, when you're like 5 or 6, you can play a game over and over and over again and it just doesn't phase you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids are tougher than men.
Nowadays, I just want to scream. They make whole genres based off of that now, and I hate it.
Whenever I play like a game online with a bunch of people and I get shot, but I felt like I shot them, it reminds me whenever I was a kid, like playing war in the backyard, and one person says they shot them, and it's like, no, I didn't. I hit you first.
I totally hit you with my dirt clod.
I threw a pine cone. You should have exploded. It has a 3-arm radius. I'm gonna go in and eat a Lunchable. That's pretty much that's what I want to do when I'm playing things like Call of Duty nowadays.
Oh.
All right. Next up, you want to talk about this next one? We got some PlayStation, a little bit of PlayStation news.
Yeah, there's a bunch of little small things here and there, but just the main thing coming up this week is Ghost of Tsushima release on Friday, July 17th. The same day as Paper Mario.
Another game about a ruthless assassin trying to take down a king.
But what's super awesome about Ghost of Tsushima is it's made by Sucker Punch Games, the people who made the Infamous series, the Sly Cooper series. They've got a really good pedigree, man. They've made some really good games. So I'm excited to see where this one goes. I'm going to play it, but I haven't pre-ordered it yet just because I'm working so many hours right now because of the gobbles.
Yeah, you're shoving all sorts of Q-tips up people's noses lately.
Yeah, man. So like every other week I work like 68 hours. Mm-hmm. And then this week I was like, oh man, I get some time off. I only worked 50 hours this week.
Yeah, and the gobbles are running through Texas, kind of like the turkeys in South Park 64.
Yeah, everywhere.
They're just everywhere. It's gobbling all over the place.
And you can't kill it with dodgeballs.
And we keep trying to take out the expansion pack to stop it.
But no,
that's got to be the best.
I think I might be able to beat Paper Mario quicker than I were to beat Ghost of Tsushima. So I'm going to get that one after I beat Paper Mario.
Yes.
It's going to be good. I have faith in them.
Yeah, I'm getting some Paper Mario coming up. All right, now we got some Xbox news, and we're almost through with the news section. Then we're going to move on to the rumors. Next up, the Xbox Game Showcase is going to be July 23rd at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That has been the night of mic drop rumor.
I swear to God, if anybody drops a mic, I'm gonna stab it. Mics are expensive, man.
Yeah, and you better watch out because I just got a 18-foot pole trimmer, and Rowdy might come and steal that and socially distance trim you. I don't know.
Yeah, I will socially distance stab somebody if they drop a mic.
Rowdy, bad Rowdy. Hippocratic oath, sir. All right. All right. Next up, we'll see what happens. It's supposed to be Microsoft showing things like Halo Infinite and the Xbox Series X first and second party games, which Microsoft, as we'll talk about, has looking to buy some people.
What in the world is a second party game?
Second party is a more autonomous company, essentially. Think of Retro Studios or Rare for Nintendo. So they had an exclusivity contract or deal,
Gotcha.
and yeah, and then eventually they get bought out and go somewhere else. So
Gotcha.
second party.
Well,
Yeah.
Rare is Microsoft now.
Yes, Rare is Microsoft now. All right. Game Pass. Coming to Game Pass July 16th. Forager. It's a 2D open world game inspired by your favorite exploration, farming, and crafting games. So Stardew Valley Harvest Moon type games. But this one's a little more, I think, on the if you played Stardew, it's like the caves everywhere. Lots of Zelda-esque fighting. In here, they say gather, collect, and manage resources, craft useful item and structures, build and grow a base out of nothing, buy land to expand and explore, level up and learn new skills, abilities, and blueprints, solve puzzles, find secrets, and raid dungeons. Achieve anything you want. The choice is yours. You set your own goals to work towards. So, start small and improve your base skills, equipment, network of friends, and enemies, and build your future as you see fit. So, yeah, you could take that description and put it to any Minecraft style or Stardew Valley type game, and it would still make sense.
Yeah,
So,
pretty
yeah,
much.
pretty much. Maybe not the raid dungeon parts, but it's that type of game. I've actually been interested in it. I'll do a game impressions, probably the podcast after next to talk about that because I'm curious if it's going to pass my wife's test of Stardew Valley S games. She's all into that style of games. Now, the problem with that, though, if it does pass that test, she has a tendency to try to play them for a literal day. So I will have to
Yeah.
chart hours she plays this before she puts it down to determine. So I think her record was like 22 or 23 hours in one
You're
sitting.
gonna
I had to take the controller away.
you're gonna have to set the kid mode to where it turns off at a certain time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to if I have to pull the controller away, and if she hits me whenever I do that, I know it's really good. So she doesn't hit me anyway. All right, guys, that is it for the news section. Rowdy, you got anything else before we hop down to the rumors and fake gaming news?
Nope.
All right, guys, we will see you after Rowdy's fancy musical break.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll move forward a little bit there.
All right.
Nose itches. Okay.
This is whenever my nose gets stopped up during the podcast. And if you can't tell, I've drank nearly all of this freaking coffee. I'm hyped today. Oh man. Okay, so this is all a lot of Xbox rumors, man, coming up. Okay, I see you added the stuff with the Warner Brothers Interactive.
Yeah.
So do you want to take that last gaming news section? Or the last rumors one?
The Microsoft one buying Warner
Yeah,
Brothers.
Warner Brothers. Yeah.
I'll do that.
All right. Okay. I guess let me get a sip. Running low. Actually, I might go get some water real quick.
Okay.
Back in 30 seconds to a minute. All right. Oh my gosh, my hair.
Put on a hat, you freaking hobo. I am going to drink Kool-Aid. I almost drank that Kool-Aid right up against the mic, but then I remembered how much I hate ASMR. Ugh. It's the worst. Hi, my name's Travis. I'm a doo-doo dunderhead. I gotta go get some water.
So I didn't think, hey, I should rinse out my coffee cup. So I just threw water. I just took a sip and it's like, tastes like water with a hint of coffee.
You just missed me making fun of you.
I'm sure, man. It's like 103 degrees outside. My hair is looking like a troll doll. Just screw it. I'm leaving it. Ha!
You freaking hobo.
I look like a hobo right now. Oh man.
Oh my god, you do look like a troll doll now.
I do. It's so bad. I was going to cut my hair into a mohawk. I think I might go ahead and do it this week.
Duh.
Just get it over with. I don't have to go back to work for about a week and a half. It'll partially grow back by then, right?
Dude, I'm telling you, we'll take.
Yeah, Skylar, it's 108 with the heat index. I know.
I will.
I'm in the devil's corner.
I will tape some scissors and some clippers to like broomsticks and cut your hair.
That sounds amazing. You need to use the 1,000-fold arms. It wouldn't let you use the term. Okay.
Yeah, I just saw that. I was like,
Skylar
really?
is our tester of the band stuff. She always uses the fun words.
Yeah,
Okay.
for some reason.
I can't look at
Oh,
myself,
because
honestly.
you misspelled mohawk. Look at how
Oh, I see what it's thinking. Yeah.
yeah,
Say it phonetically, Skylar.
it really did that. I had to allow the comment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say that phonetically, and that's why.
Yeah, I don't think
There
that's
we
a good
go.
name for my hair. Now I'm looking like Travis Touchdown, though, man. All right, let's get this show on the road. I'll just had to deal with my hair.
All right, let me hit record here. All right, and then clap in 1, 2, 3.
All right, guys, before we get to the rumors and fake gaming news, if you want to check out a good gaming news website, drop by our friends at parallaxmedia.one. They have some excellent write ups, current gaming news opinions, and editorials that I think you would enjoy. All right, let's go into rumors. A lot of these I think are fairly legitimate. I think Microsoft is leaking as much as they can before the event in July. So first up, VGC is reporting that, according to quote, quote, okay, publishing sources with knowledge of Microsoft's next gen policies. It could be my uncle from Nintendo, who knows? But that developers cannot charge players to upgrade to the current gen version as DLC. They instead of saying, I've got a 2-year-old PlayStation 4 game, I want to get this game on PlayStation 5 and play it. Basically, they're saying that they can't do that as DLC. They'd either had to buy the game over again, or they would have to use smart delivery, which allows you to play the same game on either systems through Microsoft, or another one called EA's dual entitlement. So that's
I didn't even think about that until recently. But yeah, I could see people, maybe not the older games, but I could definitely see people being like, "Hey, you bought our game on Xbox One or you bought it on PS4. Well, to get the upgraded version, you got to pay $5 or $10 or whatever." I could see how some companies out there might do that. EA being one of them.
now they're dual entitled. To be honest, though, I don't have a huge problem with that if they're actually putting in the resources to do that. But if Microsoft is already offering this service, and that's like the big thing they're pushing right now to undermine Sony, I could see why they wouldn't allow it. So that's still a rumor. We'll see. This is, of course, to the very well-known source, some dude at Microsoft. So, we'll see if it's fake gaming news or not. Next up, VentureBeat. VentureBeat Jeff Grubb. He's actually gotten quite a few rumors. I wouldn't say right. I wouldn't say wrong, exactly wrong either. I'm just not ready to say right just yet. But he said that Microsoft is looking to get major third-party studios on board and with Game Pass, and they may even land Cyberpunk 2077 shortly after it releases.
Let me tell you why I think this is BS. Because
Why do you think it is bull sharks?
Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be the game of the year. It might not be my favorite game of the year, but it will be game of the year. Everybody is going to buy this game. CD Projekt Red is third the third highest grossing European developer, only behind Ubisoft and I forget the other one. But they stand to make a lot of money by not putting Cyberpunk 2077 on Game Pass, because Game Pass only guarantees you X amount of money. That's how the contracts for a lot of this stuff works. Microsoft will approach them for a lease agreement, and then they lease the game to Xbox Game Pass for X amount of time. So you have months, years, whatever, something along those lines. So once it gets near the end of that and Xbox would like to keep it on Game Pass, then they could re-up the license and pay more money. Whereas if Cyberpunk 2077 is just a game for sale, dude, CD Projekt Red has the potential to become the highest grossing European developer this year. Next year, this fiscal year.
Yeah, it's going to be releasing around the time the other systems go out.
I think they could land Cyberpunk 2077 later on down the road as a Game Pass game, but definitely not close to release. I could be eating my own words, but I don't see it. That's a bad move on CD Projekt Red's part to do it that close to release when they can make so much money. Money talks, man.
Yeah, and at the same time, though, you're right. Money does talk. I almost feel like Microsoft would just throw a wad of cash at them, or maybe coins because there's a coin shortage right now. Maybe that's more luxurious. But
would they throw a coin to their Witcher?
Yes, they would throw a coin to the Witcher, and I think that would be an interesting move. It'd be kind of like, your turn, Sony. Who you going to get on your system? And especially with the price of these systems,
But I honestly feel Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be played best on PC. I mean, I'm going to be playing it on PS5, but if you look, I mean, they actually have Cyberpunk 2077 branded RTX 2080 graphics cards. They have Cyberpunk 2077 gaming chairs. I mean, PC
it's everywhere, man.
PC is going to be the way to play this game, man.
And we just got through with that Devolver Digital and our crazy hype starting. How much of this is really Cyberpunk? Is this game going to be as good as the hype is? I think that's where it's going to be interesting. We did ask that question a while back. What if it sucks?
It's going to be as good. You hush.
It's going to be as good. All right.
Stupid face.
All right. Okay, next up, Tom Warren tweeted that the Xbox Lockhart, also known as the
named after Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII, a game that you cannot play on Xbox.
It's all lies. The Series S will only have 20 compute units. The former PlayStation principal engineer, Matt Hargett, tweeted, Tom is often fast and loose with technical facts, but I'm with him on checking people who think that having only 20 CUs will hold back next-gen games. 20 different 5 nanometer RDNA 2 CUs seems perfect for a modern portable gaming hardware profile at 720p-1080p. That's compatible with 900 games. That sounded like a bunch of gobbledygook, right?
Yep.
Okay, what he's basically saying is the Series S is going to basically have less computing power than the Xbox Series X. And it's not going to matter a whole lot because it's only going to be targeted for 720p or 1080p screens. So it's looking like the current rumors and everything that's being leaked about the Series S. Once again, terrible name because there's already an Xbox One S, but freaking Wii U all over again. I hope Microsoft doesn't screw that up. But it would make sense. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. And we even have a former PlayStation engineer saying that, hey, this is probably going to be legit. So in this case, I think whenever we see the Lockhart here, possibly on the 23rd, that we can kind of expect that. It's going to be, from everything that's been released, it's actually going to be weaker than the One X, but it's going to have a lot of more efficiency built in, essentially. And the One X is really geared towards 4K gaming, whereas the Lockhart is sounding like it's going to be a 1080p, your regular TV screen kind of thing. So that is the current rumors for that. Rowdy, do you want to hit up this next Microsoft rumor?
Yeah, man. So I've actually been hearing this one for quite a while. Microsoft is looking to acquire Warner Brothers Interactive. We have here, according to Jeff Keighley at The Information on Twitter, but there's been a lot of people who have been talking about this, man, and that would bring upwards of 20 first-party studios. Let's see here. So Take-Two, EA, and Activision are also expressing interest, but Micro Moneybags is most likely. Nice. I like that. I didn't read that beforehand. Yeah, so a lot of people have talked about how Take-Two and EA would probably be the top runners, seeing as they've just made so much money with their sports series and Grand Theft Auto. But I don't know, man. Microsoft looks like, to me, I think Microsoft would be the one that probably snag it. But I wrote here, see notes, Rowdy, you dummy. What series would be included if they bought WB? So, obviously, one of the bigger ones is the Batman Arkham
sitcoms, right?
Do what?
A bunch of bad sitcoms?
Pretty much.
Or is that CW? WB and CW are basically the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same company.
They might get Supernatural, and Supernatural is good.
So the Batman Arkham games are definitely going to be at the top of the list there. So that would be Rocksteady Studios, but they're just a subsidiary of WB. They would definitely get that series. You're also looking at the Injustice series, which is the DC Comics fighting game that's made by NetherRealm Studios, which was another studio under WB, which makes Mortal Kombat, which is, for some people, a system seller when it comes to fighting games. Mm-hmm. Other stuff included would be like the Hitman series. Now, I know Hitman was under Square Enix for a while there. Well, then IO Interactive, the company that makes the new Hitman series, got the trademark back and is now using WB basically as publishing, stuff like that. They're not really, what is it? WB's not making the games, just publishing them. But you've also got the Lego series, which surprisingly sell a lot. And a lot of those Lego games are really fun. I really enjoyed the Star Wars Lego games. Even the Jurassic Park one was really fun. But the biggest thing on this list, there's been a big rumor about the next game from Rocksteady, the people who make the Batman Arkham games. So they obviously thought it was going to be another Batman game. Then for a while there, they were like, maybe it's a Superman game, because Rocksteady has the DC license because of WB. But people are scared to make a Superman game, especially after that turd of a game on 64. It's one of the most awful games ever made. So then the rumor was that it was a Justice League game. So this would basically be their answer to an Avengers game, um, where you would play as multiple heroes from the Justice League. But now all rumors are pointing to a possible Suicide Squad game, which to me, I think, would be way more fun because you get to play as kind of the anti-hero villains of the DC universe. Um, I don't know, man. I think that would sell more than a Justice League game. Probably because it would have do what?
Even then, it's fun to play as different characters rather
Yeah.
than just the same one the whole time.
So, but like on the Justice League game, like I think that would be too hard because you would have to include Superman, and like I said, nobody wants to make a Superman game. But then you would have Batman, Wonder Woman, stuff like that. That there would just be, I don't know, a little too much that you would have to do in there. Whereas with the Suicide Squad, they don't have a lot of overpowered superheroes. I mean, they have like Deadshot, who technically doesn't have any superpowers. He's just really good with guns. You have Captain Boomerang, who's really good with boomerangs. Who else? Harley Quinn. I mean, I think it would sell just because Harley Quinn is in the game. But there's a lot of people who have been in the Suicide Squad, and I personally would rather play a Suicide Squad game. So here's hoping that it really is a Suicide Squad game, and it might be a Microsoft exclusive. Well, I don't know. They've been pretty good about if a game was in development before they bought it, still releasing it on all systems. But future WB games might be Microsoft exclusives. We'll have to see.
Yep. So I'm curious to see if that's going to happen. I know they were also looking at a company called Area 51 or Farm 51. We talked about that last podcast. So Microsoft is spreading money out like crazy, man. All right, I think that's it for the rumors section. When we get back from the break, we are going to talk about the games we've been playing lately, including Animal Crossing Summer Update, Warface on the Switch, and Greedfall. All right.
Stop the recording. Okay. All right, queuing up. Let's see here. Do you want to go straight from our games into the bonus points?
I've been cutting the podcast and segmenting them a little bit. Probably not. Okay. Unfortunately, because I kind of want the bonus points to be just jump right into it. Right now, I am mentioning that we're live. I forgot to do that on some of these Discords. And then we can start.
You butt.
Okay. All right, got that up and running. I had to pull up some stuff from GW too, because I didn't write it in the notes. I left some angry words for myself in there. Okay. All right, I guess I'm ready when you are.
All right, hit the.
Do you want to start this one off, by the way? Because you're up first.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. All right, hit the record button. All right, clap in 1, 2, 3. All right, before we get started talking about the games we've been playing lately, hey, we stream stuff now. Not only are we recording the podcast live weekly in all of its raw, messed up glory, but we play games too. You know, kind of like what we talk about in the podcast. So
yeah, I'm gonna play some this week. That's the plan.
So now you can join in on the fun, ask questions, or add to the conversation live at twitch.tv/lamergamerspodcast.
Yeah.
So this is the point in the podcast where we talk about the games that we've been playing. And I have been working a lot and haven't played many games. I need to get back into Xenoblade. Like, I cannot let that one get on my backlog. I've got to beat that game. I've put it off for years.
I need to play. I just need to jump to the epilogue. I just got to do it and move on with my life.
The one game that I have been playing constantly is Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah.
I think I've only missed maybe 3-4 days since this game came out that I haven't played it. And it's gotten to the point where I'm redoing my island now, just
Oh,
because why not?
what
Uh,
else am I gonna do?
but so the summer update is out. It's pretty awesome, man. So in this one, like you can get a wetsuit, a swimsuit, something like that, and you can swim around. You could jump off cliffs and rocks, do flips and cannonballs off of them. It's pretty funny watching it, man. I chuckled the first time I did a flip off of a cliff.
It's
But yeah, so
intense.
you
Intense
can
diving in Animal Crossing.
so like in New Leaf, the 3DS version, there is a barrier that you can't swim outside of. Um, and you could dive down and catch different sea creatures. Some of them really hard to catch. Don't know why the Gigas clam can swim so fast, seeing as they're like 6 feet big and weigh up to 600 pounds. They swim so fast. Sorry.
Yeah.
But no, it's pretty awesome. It adds to things that you could donate to the owl. Oh my god. I play it every day and can't remember the owl's name. Blathers. Oh my god. How could I not remember that? Um, so it's a whole new. It's like 40 new things you could donate to him. Also, if you catch scallops, Pascal the otter will swim up and ask you for that scallop. And if you give it to him, he'll give you things like mermaid clothing or mermaid-based DIY furniture. Sometimes he'll give you pearls, which you need to make said mermaid DIYs. And also, he drops some truth bombs on you every time. And
Does he now?
let's just say that I think him and Harvey might be doing some stuff behind the scenes that make them sound the way they do.
Oh snap! There's conspiracies of Animal Crossing. You
But
don't know what's
now,
really happening in the Animal Crossing world. It's
one of the
needs a
what?
tinfoil hat and the 5G. The 5G is making everything wrong in Animal Crossing. Okay, sorry, I got.
But
I
no,
got
so,
wired for that.
a big complaint about the summer update is the actual swimsuit or wetsuit itself. So you can't use it as like a wand outfit, um, because it's technically a tool. But you can't you can't hotkey it on your toolbar either because it's something you wear. So it's just kind of back and forth. Why you can't use it? It's just this never-ending circle. Also, it's kind of like a Wanda outfit in the fact that you can't go into the dressing room until you take it off. Um, so it's super awesome to swim around in, but like as soon as you get out of the water, take it off because you're gonna get annoyed by something. But no, Animal Crossing, awesome. It's the one constant that I keep playing. And yeah, you should check out the summer update. It's pretty fun.
So, not to anger you, but did
Oh
you finish
no.
Last of Us 2?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I know that's gonna be coming up soon. I guess give us a zombified answer to how good this game is.
A zombified answer?
Yeah, you just got to
Oh.
groan, like a happy groan, or
Um,
unhappy groan. Like how? What would you rate this in zombie language?
I don't know. Is there such thing as a gleeful groan?
Okay, gleeful groan. The game is gleefully groaned. That's
I I really enjoyed the game. Um, that is a game that will tear at your heartstrings. You're conflicted for like half of the game, man. I mean, Naughty Dog. This was basically an exercise in making you sympathize with the antagonist. It takes you out of your place of comfort. It puts you in a very uncomfortable position, and I still thoroughly enjoyed the game.
sympathy for the devil, is what you're saying.
Yes, I mean that ending, man. Um, let's just say, like, I thoroughly enjoyed the game. and the ending I thought was great, but I did not feel good at the end. I did not feel positive emotions. Joy was not there.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm going to speak of something that I'm going to move into the games I've played. I played pretty much 2 games. One I got kind of addicted to, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it, but it has issues. The other one I just started playing, Warface. I've only played for like maybe a couple hours. And Warface is a free to play game. It's on the Switch. I think it's on all the systems. It's essentially dollar store Call of Duty. I think there's like 16 people at a time. It has gyro controls, and the gyro controls are actually good. Like, I'm a huge Splatoon nerd. I like games with good gyro controls, and
Of course you do.
Yeah, absolutely. The minigun is ridiculous in the game, and it never runs out of ammo. But you die
Nice.
so much. Yeah, you die so much though, doesn't really matter. And apparently the other team gets a little bit of armor when you're in their base, which kind of annoys me, but it keeps you from spawn camping.
Okay.
But it's decent. You get what you pay for, and you can pay for weapons and stuff, I think. But
So this is like
it's a
the
game.
one-ply toilet paper of first-person shooters.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's enjoyable if you have some friends to play with and you kind of like get a group going, but it's all you got on Nintendo right now if you're looking for that kind of game. There's nothing really that fits in that niche at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a game like that other than Fortnite, that's your game.
Hey, did Ninjala come out?
Ninjala did come out, but I have not played it yet.
Oh.
Ninjala reminded me of Bleeding Edge from what I've seen. I do need to play it. There's just been so many other games that I've been playing that are 2 games in the last 2 weeks. So many other games, Rowdy. I played 2 games. The other game, which I played a lot more, Greedfall. I caught Greedfall for $8 on a sale. I had like $5 sitting around of Microsoft credit, or $2 or $3 of it, and jumped on it. I've been seeing good things about it. It's an RPG, and it is very colonial you're essentially a colonizer. You're going through, and you're a diplomat that is trying to keep everybody copacetic. You're trying to keep wars from happening.
Do you have diplomatic immunities?
Somewhat. I've gotten caught doing things. I mean, people have tried to kill me. There are different tribes in the game that range from everything from like a kind of the historical, what you would call a noble savage is the term, to very warlike tribes. And then there are different factions that are fighting against each other. There is a group that is basically doing an inquisition for the sun god, and they're hunting down all these gigantic spirits or monsters that are supposedly keeping the island that you're on safe. At least that's what the natives say. So the game is really well done. The voice acting in this game is really good. The storytelling is good. It's basically, it's like a AAA game, but it's this game is made by a company called Spiders. And the way they put everything, it says a game by Spiders.
That's no.
Yeah. But honestly though, it's a AAA game, but it's like 1,000 spiders inside of a skin suit of a AAA game that are manipulating it.
I don't like that one bit.
If in still shots, this game looks like a AAA game. In actuality, and seeing the animations in the game are frightening. It is so into the uncanny valley whenever characters talk. And I've been trying to figure out, is it one giant spider that's inside the body? Or is it a lot of little spiders? Or are they like medium-sized spiders? And there's only like 100 of them. But when they move, their mouth moves in weird ways, and it pulls down their nose as they're talking, like it's stretching the skin like a mask. It is the scariest thing.
It makes him look like Voldemort with a flat nose, and you can see
Oh
down
my!
their nostrils.
Oh, and some of the characters, like the design on their face, it's just the people that design the bodies. It's like 2 generations ago, like how they would design things, but
Okay.
but not like the rest of the game looks fantastic. Now you can tell that they had a low budget, right? This game is definitely hitting above its weight class as far as what they've done with it. Because you'll walk in this giant town, everything looks spectacular, the lighting looks great. It has this like a golden glow in the light that reminds me of like a Renaissance painting or a painting you would expect to see in the colonial era or in the 1700s with neo classicism. I'm using a bunch of big words. I apologize for it, but I am an art
Blur,
nerd.
blur, blur,
Yeah,
blur.
art history class, guys. But anyway, game looks fantastic. But then occasionally you'll like see somebody walk into a wall, or they'll just stand there and stare the entire time. Like I went downstairs in this bar, and it's just people standing around staring. Nobody is moving. Like there's not even like a, like the wiggle animations, or you move your arm and up your shoulders up and down, like you're breathing or you're wanting to fight, like in a Street Fighter game. No,
Yeah,
they're just blank, cold, dead stares because
frozen.
the spiders had jumped out of the throats and crawled around to another body that's moving.
Oh god, spider
This,
talk.
this game is this game is made by spiders, Rowdy. But the
Ugh.
fighting is very Fable-esque.
So one
So
button.
no, actually, you have a bunch of different buttons you can fight with. I mean, it's essentially you have 2 buttons. Then you
Oh,
have a
okay.
jump, you have a dodge, you have a parry. But one thing that I really like is you can do what's called tactical pausing. So you press the left shoulder button,
Dude,
and it
hang on.
allows you to
I thought you said tactical palsy.
no
So
tactical
I was like,
pausing.
when would you tactically need a palsy? Like, I don't know. There's for some reason you need to like paralyze a side of your face.
Well, actually, I constantly use the magic spell stasis. Um, so I'm using a magic character because I'm always a magic character in RPGs. I just can't help myself. If I can shoot fireballs and mess with people's brains with magic, I'm going to choose them. I don't really care about swinging a sword around. That's so pedestrian. No.
I now want to see a spell called tactical palsy.
Okay, yes. I mean, that's what stasis is essentially. So you pause the game and it pauses the action. You can scroll through your spell charts and pick which enemy to go against. So it's really helpful for nerds like me that want to treat this like an RPG. And so, like, I load up my spells, bam, 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 freeze everybody with a stasis spell. It eats away their armor, and then I have my team attack. Now, you always have 2 people with you. These are the 2 stupidest people in the world, though. Every single time. It doesn't matter who you pick on your team. I have a guy that supposedly is the top of like some sort of army. He's a captain. And then I have somebody that is a medical super scientist. That's when you meet her, she jumps out of a tree and she like puts a gun to your head and acts like she's, I don't know, the most amazing fighter in the world. But when it comes to a fight and there are big demon monsters coming after me, what do? Nothing. They just sit there and wait for me to attack every time. I can't tell them, hey guys, I'm the magic user. I need to go hang out over here to the side while y'all freaking tank. Got it? I'll freeze people for you. It'll be cool. Then this is what we're gonna do. You two listen to me. Why are there
Nope.
spiders all over you? Okay. All right. Anyway.
Oh god.
You two listen to me. I'm gonna freeze them. You throw a grenade when their armor's down, and then you go in and start beating up just one. Nope, that's not how it works. They will sit there until I go up and slap one in the face, and then they'll start attacking. And sometimes I want to freeze the character because we need to like go and get some magic. We need to drink some potions or something. Nah, dude's just gonna go whop. I'm here to fight. I'm almost dead, but I'm here to fight. So the fighting is sometimes infuriating. It's not terribly hard if you're a magic user and you just spam the stasis spell, and then just keep a bunch of magic potions. but I'm having fun with it. There's something about this game made by spiders that I'm really, really enjoying. So I don't know. I would suggest it if you can get it cheap. I would not pay $50 for this game, but I'm probably 16 to 20 hours into it, and I'm having a good time.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but it is in the uncanny valley full of spider people.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Look, I got to throw this in as a bonus story. Look, man. So there's this streamer named Ross.
Okay.
He's done a lot of stuff with like Game Grumps. He's got his own podcast with some other gamers and stuff like that. But the main thing he's known for is streaming on Twitch, and he does ridiculously hard Mario Maker levels. So the other day, I was watching him make one, and somebody had mentioned something about spiders. So he was talking about how he's from Australia. He grew up in Australia. So
It's like, I'm used to this.
yeah,
We rode them to school
like they were nothing. He said, so one day he said he woke up with a huntsman spider on his thigh. I don't know if you know what a huntsman spider is, but everything's bigger in Australia.
Variation of them out here in the swamps.
Yeah, not this big. Yeah. So he was talking about how he woke up because he felt like what felt like a hand crawling up his leg. So he said he pulled back his sheets very slowly and saw this huntsman spider standing there. Now, I would be screaming like a child who had just skinned their knee. He said basically what he did is just very slowly took and then just flicked the spider onto the ground and then just kind of shoot it out his front door.
I would have given it some, like, I don't know, some treats, some pepperonis, and I would have raised it.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would have. No, I would have caught that house on fire and never looked back.
But yeah, that's my bonus story for this section.
That was beautiful, Rowdy. Now if you were anywhere arachnophobic, you have turned off this podcast. But thanks for downloading in the first place.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys. Next up, we are going to move to our bonus points question, where we ask the Lamer Gamers community on Twitter, what are your thoughts on AAA games becoming $70 in the next gen? We got a lot of responses, so y'all get ready for this. And we will be bringing up the Lamer Gamers Theater to reenact the debates that happened. We'll see you after the break.
All right, stop recording. Move a little forward. All right, man. Are you ready to get into this?
Yeah. Let me write this down real quick. I forgot to do the promo for Lamer Gamer Bites. By the way, guys, if you are hanging out here, thanks for dropping by. We're on a quick little intermission, and then we're going to start up bonus points. I'm going to go ahead and mention bonus points now, so we can get some more people in here. All right. Bonus points live now. All right, guys. And I am going to get my notes open before we start gathering bonus points. If you want to listen to the podcast, but maybe not every segment, check out our new RSS Lamer Gamer Bites. And I'll just kind of explain that. I'll wing it.
If you say so.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a new section coming up. This whole section honestly is going to be kind of like me winging it. Just get ready. It's going to be lengthy. It's going to be intense, and we're going to go to the Wild Wild West at some point, and Shakespearean theater. It'll be fantastic. All right. I'm ready when you are.
All right, man. Let me hit record here. Record. All All right, and clap in 1, 2, 3.
All right, guys, before we get started gathering some bonus points, if you want to listen to this podcast, but you don't have time to sit for an hour and a half to 2 hours and listen to the whole thing, or maybe you just like the news, or maybe you just want to hear our gaming impressions, maybe you just want to hear bonus points, well, check out our new RSS, or kind of like a new podcast, but it's the same freaking thing. Lamer Gamer Bites. That's BYTES. You can find it wherever you cast your pods, maybe even iHeartRadio. I don't know about that just yet. But what I'm doing is I'm taking the podcast and I'm cutting it up into segments and loading it in so you don't have to necessarily listen to the whole thing. We have it separated from like the intro and skit at the beginning. Then we have a news section. Then we have impressions, rumors, all that stuff in an easier to listen format for y'all lamers that might only have like a 15-minute break, or maybe you only have a 30-minute lunch, and you don't want to you don't want to get left somewhere. You want to feel like you completed something, right? So think of it as checkpoints for podcasting.
I see what you did there.
Game things. Okay. All right, guys. So last week, we asked a whole bunch of people on the Twitters and the other places that we hang out at, what are your thoughts on next gen games costing $70? And these, let's just kind of go ahead. Where does this come from, right? We're going to go to the news, then we'll go to the responses from all sorts of people. By the way, for people that are hopping into the Twitch chat, thanks for showing up. We got GNR Frank up in the building. Anyway, so here's the big news. So next gen AAA games are most likely going to start costing $70. 2K revealed the price of NBA 2K21 for current gen, which is $70 for the PlayStation 4 version, by the way, and the Xbox One version, are going to be raising the price from $59.99 to $69.99. So we've had some thoughts from the big wigs in gaming, right? We had Matt Piscatella say the shift to $69.99 should have taken place in 2013, in my honest opinion. But folks thought mobile was a threat to the console business, among a couple of other drivers. But in retrospect, lol. Instead, we got collectors, silver, and gold editions that elevated above $59.99 anyways. So, we have people in the industry that are saying, look, guys, we artificially lowered the prices because mobile was supposed to come in and just completely destroy the gaming industry. Then Nintendo showed up with the Switch and was like, you guys think you can sell some games? We'll show you. Anyway.
Joe, you're not biased or anything.
No, I'm not biased at all. But, I mean, look at what the Switch did, right? Next up, we have the God of War director, Cory Barlog, which that name reminds me of like... you remember Street Fighter 2?
Balrog, yeah.
Yeah, well, in the arcade version, they accidentally put Barlog.
Nice.
And so I remember like going to Pizza Hut back in the day, and I was about to go play Street Fighter 2 as a kid, get my pizza afterwards. And it would always say Barlog, and I really like playing as Barlog. Anyway, so you see where he says, who is going to win next generation? The same group that has won every generation before, gamers. Well, somebody apparently, Justin Tarnation, also known as Buttered Noodle Poppy, it's a lovely name, put in all caps, except for God of War, I'll pay whatever you charge for that. Not at $70 a game, I won't. I'm not made of money. So he's kind of making fun of the God of War guy. So Cory Barlog says games need to go up in price. I prefer an initial increase in price to the always on cash grab microtransaction filled hellscape that some games have become. So there's a lot of discussion about this, and this went pretty big on our Twitter. I guess before I get to my thoughts on it, what do you want to share your thoughts first, or do you want me to jump into this?
Well, I'll go ahead and throw mine in, man. So at this rate, we see so many AAA developers shutting down studios, canceling games, having people crunch these games, things like that. I honestly think that if these AAA companies increase it to $70, this might have a positive, I guess you could say, a positive reaction to the workforce and how things happen. They might be able to put more money into the work staff and not have to always lay people off, shut down studios and things like that. Because right now they're running everybody just completely ragged. Now, on the same note, when you have games that have yearly installments that basically only update a roster or something along those lines, and you want to charge $70 a year, nah, man, get out of here. You didn't need all that money because you didn't make an all new game. All you did was, update a roster, put a couple new features in it, slapped a new coat of paint on it, and then sent it out there. So I have to say it depends on the type of game. God of War, I would totally pay $70 for. Just because it's going to be a decently long game. And, like I said, with that $70, hopefully would make it positive for the company to, pay more money to their employees, try and keep everybody happy. Because, like I said, we're sick and tired of seeing like crunch and all this negative stuff come out about these games. I guess with like your 2K games and how they're releasing every year like that, I mean, dude, they make so much of their money from microtransactions. If I'm not mistaken, EA made a quarter or a third of their profits from just FIFA microtransactions. That doesn't even include like the NBA, NFL, any of that. So I don't know, man. It's kind of we'll see what happens. I could definitely see them going up to 70. And I wouldn't be upset with certain companies charging that much. It to me, it would kind of have to be just a game by game, company by company kind of deal.
Now, I'll go into my thoughts before we get to the bonus points, right? I kind of want to point a counterpoint out to Mr. Corey Barlog. While games like God of War they're going to make use of that extra $10, right? But games like 2K21, NBA 2K21 will most definitely still go after those microtransactions. Heck, they'll probably like 6 months after the game release, they'll probably drop it down to $3 like they did with that last one. After everybody stops paying full price for it, because they just want to get their hands all up in your pockets for that sweet microtransaction money, right? So my other thought is, though, this is actually a possible benefit though for other people. You can expect to see indie developers potentially asking a little bit more for their games. Mid-tier companies will be able to sell their games at 60 and seem almost like a budget for something that is not necessarily a AAA game. Also, you got to think though, who else is this going to help? Things like Game Pass, things like these services where people are going to see these games that are cost $70 and then, close to 80 after you add tax. But I got to be honest though, man. I was a gamer during the 90s. Do you remember whenever there was no GameStop? And I know we've talked about this before, but you would go to Walmart and there would often be games in the $70, $80 range.
I would have to put them on layaway at Walmart to pay for them with my allowance.
Yeah. I mean, that was just the reality, because one, you had a lack of places that were selling it so they could put the price of whatever it was. And then, that's just how it was back then. So it's not a huge surprise to me. Granted, I think nowadays, I remember seeing things like Wolverine's freaking Adamantium Rage, which was not a good game. It was really nice looking. That game was like $70 at Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you could finish that game in like a couple hours. Nowadays, you got a game that you can spend 300 hours on, like Diablo or something like that, and still want to play it for $50 or get it $39.99 on sale. All right, so
Yeah,
that's kind of
but
my
that was originally a full price game though.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. All right, so now we're gonna get into what you wanted to hear, the bonus points, what other people think. So we actually, if you are checking out this on the podcast, we do have a Twitch chat running. I'm gonna read through some of the Twitch chat first before we get to more friends of the show. So GNR underscore Frank, which GNR Frank is on YouTube, put games are inelastic in demand, so price can and will go up, but consumers won't stop buying them. We have already been conditioned into paying 60, 70, or even $100+ for them. And I think that is true to some extent. Um, I think there's not a whole lot of mobile games that are really big anymore. I think console games, there is a massive demand for them.
You shut your face. I play Angry Birds every day.
Well, Rowdy, you and your Angry Birds can go fly away and hit something in the physics and boom and crash, right? Also, he put, also as development costs go up, so will the price. However, that comes with higher expectations too.
Yes,
Skylar at
yes, so much that.
yes. I wants to see the pretties all over them screens if I'm gonna pay $70 for it. Like, this game better look fantastic, better play even better, and I better be entertained. Now, next up we have Skylar who put, I totally agree, but my issue is the microtransactions and the season passes, which basically turn the game into a monthly subscription. When you start adding those things, you should not add additional cost up front. Which I like your reply. What was your reply?
Yup.
Yup. So we do have some discussion over there. We'll probably get back to that in a second. Let's go ahead and jump into some more friends of the show. Today in Games podcast put, it's unfortunate. I hope people wouldn't buy into it, but people will. So if it ends up happening, if we really care, we're just going to have to wait until sells. But there's not much we can do to stop this. So
You know what you can do to stop this? Buy digital.
see, but digital sometimes is just as expensive.
Yeah,
Sometimes
no,
I get a game cheaper.
because
Physical.
they could charge that now. Like if
Right.
if it got to the point where most sales were digital, in my opinion,
Mhm.
if it got to the point where pretty much everything went digital, which it never will, just because there are people who refuse to get onto it or don't have good internet or whatever. But if they see that most of the digital prices I mean, they see that most of their sales are for digital, they wouldn't have to produce as many physical copies, therefore could bring the cost of production down. Now, will they actually lower the digital price, or will they be money-hungry companies? That's up to them.
The hunger is real. Rowdy, you just want all digital because you got that fancy gigabit internet. You can just get it, bam, like that.
Oh yeah, man, I can get it quicker than midnight release.
Hey, you want to go back and forth on these? You
Yeah,
want to hit
man.
the next one? Yeah.
So Lamppost Gaming on Twitch says, in my complete honest opinion, I don't think it's worth it because right now gaming companies struggle to make a full quality game for $60 without having to push DLC and season passes down your throat. They should leave the price at $60 and focus more on complete quality games. Smiley face.
Smiley face. That's an important part of this discussion.
So that's another thing that's true. So like I was saying, in my opinion, how it should be, based on the game, based on the company. If you can't put out a quality game, I mean, you shouldn't be able to charge that much. I mean, I know there's no company out there that's going to enforce that, like a rating system or anything. But yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be able to charge, a full price for a broke ass game.
I think also we're going to see some of these companies like test the waters. Like, are
Yeah,
people really going to buy this game
I
for
could see
that
that.
price? And I think I really have no love for the 2K series.
Ish.
I don't think they're generally that well done, and whenever you play them, I mean, they're just so microtransacted.
They're
You know?
grindy.
Oh man, I'm not a
They
fan.
they want you to pay to not play them.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Pretty much. Pretty much. Pay to win almost. All right. Next up, we had a discussion between Part-Time Pixel on Twitter and More Than a Podcast. More Than a Podcast has a lot of replies, so you'll hear that one. That podcast person very often. Part-Time Pixel says, I rarely buy full price games anymore. And the ones I do, I typically get the collector's edition anyway. So I guess it doesn't bother me much. I could see that. I'm one of those people, like, if I'm going to really go for a game like Xenoblade, I got the collector's edition, right?
Yeah.
I got to be really invested, though, into that series. More Than a Podcast replied, it will, Travis. It will. Part-Time Pixel's name is also Travis. And then Part-Time Pixel replied, man, maybe. I have like 600 games on Steam to play still, so I don't really have a problem waiting for the games to go down in price or go on sale. Truth. How many
I
of
don't
us
know,
have like
man.
100 games hanging around on Steam?
Oh, dude, I have so many hanging around on Steam, but I still always want to be on top of the games that are coming out.
I definitely feel more like it because we do a weekly podcast.
Yeah.
That's like, I was a little bit better in Rowdy. I think at the beginning of this podcast last year, you were like, Travis, why aren't you playing new games?
Dude, I was playing so many. It was ridiculous.
I'm a deal hunter. I'm bad about it. Like, if it's a game I really want, I'll go get it. But like Greedfall, $8. Yeah, I'm on it now. This game might have released a year ago, but I'm playing it now because it's $8. All right, you want to hit up the next one?
Yeah, man. So the Heckin' Call podcast
Love that
says, I rarely ever buy games that aren't a couple years old, so I rarely pay full price. It's a bit inconvenient, but so is paying $60 for a game. That was Steve. Apparently this is also Brian from the Heckin' Call podcast. That'd be annoying, I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, I understand that better games take more time and resources, which is true. But
very good points.
We also bring up the point that there's also people out there that aren't going to put the time and resources into it and still charge that.
NBA 2K. All right, next up, Matt Varish of the VG Lore podcast. I'm so behind on my PS4 games that when I finally get to PS5, the games will be $30. Yeah. Let's see. I'll go ahead and jump into Budget Arcade. Budget Arcade podcast says there's a reason we review free-to-play games. Our main host already can't afford the new games now. And it's so true, though. You can really get by playing games that are perfectly playable nowadays. Oh, that is a good name for Lemon Law Gaming. Should be a podcast about crappy games. That's what they're talking about in the Twitch
Oh,
chat.
yeah.
All right, you want to hit up Ocho Doro?
Ocho Doro. Wait. Okay, yeah. If true, that had better be worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you hit up Grief Burrito if you don't mind.
Grief Burrito podcast. Well, I'm not happy about it. Haha. It'll probably push more people towards subscription-based gaming. Sounds stupid, but I'd rather pay for a game that was less graphically impressive and one that played better if that would reduce the cost. Yeah. I mean, I can see there's a lot of gamers out there, a lot of fans of our show that feel that way.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I was talking about with Greedfall, man. I mean, I love the way it plays. I like how the story's going, but it looks like there are 1,000 spiders inside of these characters moving their faces around. It is absolutely horrendous looking in some aspects to the Uncanny Valley, and it scares me a little bit, and I have nightmares. So, next up, the Gaming Goomba on YouTube says, I'm still not over the jump to $60. I spent most of my gaming last gen on the Wii, and Wii games were still $50. Well, that's because of the Nintendo tax. Everybody knows that. Video games are already too expensive to begin with. If games alone are a fourth of the price of the console, something is wrong. Well, we don't know how much these new consoles are going to be. They could be a tenth of the price at $70.
That's true.
We just don't know. There is no telling. All right. Next. Oh, hit up Hour a Day Gamer if you don't mind, sir.
Yeah. Hour a Day Gamer says, can't say I'm surprised. Everything is getting ridiculously expensive. But as long as people continue to pay the price, they'll keep charging it. Smiley face with open mouth.
Sorry, I copy and paste these things, and that's what it says. Yeah, I mean, they're coming after your money, man.
I mean, it kind of brings us back to the microtransactions as well. Like, as long as people pay for them, they'll keep putting microtransactions in games. But that's a whole nother discussion because, like, when it comes to the 2K games, the kind of people that constantly throw money at the microtransactions are not necessarily the kind of people we would consider hardcore gamers that would play a lot of the, God of Wars, Last of Us's, the Halos, things like that. They're the ones that are basically, they buy a system. They basically buy the system that their friend has so that they could play with them online at whatever sports game is coming out at the time. Those are the kind of people that throw money at microtransactions.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Paranoid Android, also known as @Voxel Hero on Twitter. It'll certainly cause me to buy less games at launch. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you have Game Pass and you can play a whole bunch of games at launch.
Let's see here. Petri Dish, a science podcast. Well, as a PC gamer, I'm only moderately affected by the price hike. I'm sure cross-platform games will start out pricey, but I'll probably end up waiting for a Steam sale. Yes. But in terms of inflation, $70 now is less than 40 or 50 in the 90s, right? Yeah, that's pretty much right. Like, we talked about having to, put an NES game on layaway because it cost, $40, $50, and you only got, what, a $5 a week allowance? If
you got
that.
An allowance as a kid? I had to go work with my grandma making shrimps on the sticks. And
Scrimps!
I made scrimps and prepped hamburgers and whatnot at the age of 9. Yeah.
Child labor.
Pretty much, man. Oh, man. All right. Next up is Dante Gameplays, who actually is no longer on Twitter, at least where I saw, is moving over to Instagram at Dante_Gameplays. Dante says, selling incomplete games at a full price became a common practice because we all allowed devs to pull such crappy moves. To think it will not happen for next gen is like thinking that the Gobbles has a cure. So I almost said it. I almost just saw every search just disappear. Greediness cannot be cured. I will wait for price drops for sales. X the D, thing like that. Also I saw GNR Frank just put, give me Legacy of Kain remastered and I'll pay $70.
Nice.
Nice. Give me Eternal freaking Darkness.
Nope.
Yes.
Not gonna happen.
Yes, I want that. I would pay $70 for it. I would probably pay like $90 for a special edition with an art book.
Turns out to replay it, you're gonna have to buy a GameCube and a used copy.
You can buy a Wii.
I think I may have a copy of Eternal Darkness hidden somewhere.
Oh, I definitely do, but I need to find that. Oh, snap. We need to play some Eternal Darkness on the Twitch. All right, Rowdy. So now we're getting to the point to where we had like these lengthy discussions and debates with people. So this is where this is time for Lamer Gamers Theater. Rowdy, our first scene is going to be, think, revolutionary era Uber thespians, like I'm speaking now.
Okay.
Actors. All right, I'll start. This is between Lit Gaming Arena podcast and Off the Cuff Games on Twitch. Lit Gaming Arena. By the way, you got to scroll down to see the image of this.
Oh, I see it.
Lit Gaming Arena says, I'm still not over the price increase from $50 to $60 a decade ago. And then he posted a GIF that says, disappointed!
Well, I am, how you say, okay with it.
No! That's not how we resist and fight the power!
Look, Chuck D, these games take time and, how you say, effort, plus the cost of how you say, manufacturing.
And thanks to microtransactions and cosmetic items, they're more profitable than ever.
Now, I don't agree with microtransactions. Plus, I'm always resistant about, how you say, DLC with most games.
Ah, yes. End scene. Yes, thank you.
How
That's
you
our first.
say.
How you say end scene? Yes, but yeah, I think that's a very, very good conversation. I know we're kind of making light of it, but there's so much discussion. We had to find a way to make this not drawn on for you forever.
I really like the Public Enemy reference in that conversation. That was awesome. You guys get an A+ for that one.
Yes, absolutely. So that was a discussion between Lit Gaming Arena and Off the Cuff Games. All right. The next one I don't really have acted out. Rowdy, do you have any suggestions for how we should act this one out that won't get us in trouble? I
No,
forgot.
this is just a short one that has like just 3 different lines.
Okay. So Midwest Meltdown Podcast says, my thoughts are I'll wait until I see that awesome deal on PS Store. Smiling face with open mouth and cold sweat. I got a lot of sweat right now. It's freaking hot in the devil's corner over here.
The-
Except for that one game, i.e. Uncharted 5.
oh my god. Out of the Sandbox podcast. Totally agree with Meltdown Midwest. $70 is pretty expensive, especially when you're not living in the US. In Latin America, you either pay 70 USD plus taxes or wait for the physical that costs even more. There's always that one game that's worth it, but otherwise, I'd wait for the sale.
Yeah, that's something I didn't even think about too, man. All
Yeah,
these,
dude.
yeah, I mean, South America, Central America, they had to pay a bit more because of travel. And then in burst through the door, Dante's gameplay. Yes, I hate it when I see games for like $80, man. Then they wonder why people turn to Amazon.
Facepalm.
All right. Very good points, guys. That is something I didn't think about as a gamer in Texas. Very, very true. All right. Next one, Rowdy, is a discussion between Console Gaming Crew podcast, More Than a Podcast, and then Today in Games jumps in. So I will. Who do you want to be?
I'll do More Than a Podcast.
All right. I'll do the other two because there's only one by Today in Games.
Okay.
So this one, we're developing a gaming constitution. Super serious. In the late 1700s. That's our scene. I don't really know how the heck that's really going to play out, but serious.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Just roll with it. Console Gaming Crew podcast. I mean, if it's not going to stop us from buying the games, but it does kind of suck. I agree with there needs to be something done about microtrans. It got more Western. I'm sorry. If it's be done about microtransactions if we're paying more for the games. But for everything being higher quality, we will shut up and let them take our money. Then he used to shut up and take my money gif of Fried from Futurama. I think I turned into a Southern courtroom.
No, I was following you. I was going to do the same thing.
Yeah, go for it.
What needs to happen is that gamers need to be unified in their efforts to speak a volume that publishers and corporations can understand if we stand in solidarity and say that we don't accept something. Trust me, they will change.
All right. I think I'm going to pull back a little bit and be a little bit more normal on this. I'm afraid of where I'm going. I'm not very good at acting. Can y'all not tell this? All right. So, Console Game Crew says you would need the streaming community or something like that would really have weight. Boycotting for lower prices won't happen, unfortunately. DLCs are what make a lot of games replayable. Gone are the days of getting everything at once. That genie is already out of the bottle.
Man, see? It needs to be all consumers. Look how we're destroying GameStop revenue by selling games to each other through apps like OfferUp and Let Go. At this rate, we won't ever have to worry about getting ripped on again. Next, we take down major corporations. Sir?
I love where you went with that. I apologize, by the way, to More Than a Podcast, which does an amazing podcast, but I don't know what's happening. We're not very good actors. We're trying to keep this going. All right, I'm jumping with you. I'm going with the detective movie. All right, console gaming crew. GameStop had a trash way of treating people, and how did that trade end? That's another reason why they're going down the drain, as well as the reasons you said. It would take a lot more to take down Sony or Microsoft and their affiliates, plus other dev companies.
Not at all. We just have to stop buying stuff we don't need. If we stood strong together and said, F Capcom, don't release seasons of characters, we want them all. They'd take the game of the stores, release it 2 years as a definitive edition with no future DLC. Face with tears of joy emoji.
Today in Games jumps in. That's not quite how it works. The biggest problem is that the average consumer doesn't pay attention in the same way we do. Anyone who pays attention to what's going on pretty much falls outside the average consumer, which is what makes the majority boycott near impossible.
So then, we change the characteristics of the average consumer.
All right. Excellent. That was beautiful.
All right, man, I'm not acting anymore.
Oh, but we got to do the Western one. That's next.
Oh, no, okay.
Yeah, GNR Frank, I'm sorry, but we're in the Cowboys hanging out in the saloon, haggling over prices, I think. It's about to get super Southern up in here. All right, so this is between GNR Frank on YouTube and More Than a Podcast, which is going to be all sorts of different voices apparently today. And then we'll stop. All right, I'll do GNR Frank. Do you want to do More Than again?
Yeah.
All right, GNR Frank on YouTube and the host of the weekly Farcast. LAMA, oh man, maybe. I have like 600 games on Steam to play still, so I don't have a problem waiting for games to go down in price or go on sale.
Well, but you're going to be singing that same tune when your favorite game talks about how for 40 or 50 more, you can have some sort of additional content.
There's no difference now, proportionally speaking. We can all but the $60 version of games, but for more content, we will pay $100 or more. It's subjective, though, so it will be judged on a case-by-case basis.
But Frank, what exactly is the content in question? A few uniforms or costumes for a couple of characters, virtual currency, which will run out by the end of the night? I think it's all BS.
Oh, I absolutely agree, my good sir. It is BS. But I'm thinking from a business perspective. We've been conditioned to perceive added costumes and skins at a higher price as normal now, sadly.
Totally. But I think as a form of business, as a consumer, we should implement our rights to say that we won't accept being double dipped for things that should already be in a game, dagnabbit.
Dagnabbit, that's perfect. Agreed. This is GNR Frank again, by the way. This is what would take a movement. Not just keyboard warriors or rootin' tootin' cowboys or even the law. I added that, sorry. Somewhat like how we moved on EA for Battlefront 2 microtransactions.
Yes. There's been many examples of solidarity. Battlefront 2, Xbox One Connect, us killing the PS Vita. We could stand together.
That PS Vita ain't coming back.
Man, you SOBs for killing the PlayStation Vita.
You killed it.
Look, man, that system came out with an OLED screen. That was the best looking portable ever, man. That screen was awesome. It looks so good.
Oh, man. Okay, so we got one more. I don't know if we want to act this one out or not.
That too much orange juice.
I don't know if we want to go.
No,
I don't think so.
I can't do that.
We used to have a teacher. I hate to make fun of a teacher because I'm in education, but we had a teacher that would always come in and tell us that she had too much orange juice that morning.
Dude, there was something else in that orange juice.
There's something else in that orange juice. Anyway, I'm not going to go into who that was, but all right, this is between Drink a Beer and Play a Game on YouTube, Console Gaming Crew podcast, and More Than a Podcaster in this one. So we'll just flop back and forth on this. Drink a Beer and Play says, it's fine if it curbs the dependence on DLC. Apparently I hit Southern, but I'm already there. You want to hit console?
Oh, sorry. I was typing in the Twitch chat.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I'll go ahead and start it. They will still sell other versions of the game with season passes or something like that. DLCs will never go away, even with a higher price tag. And then we end with More Than a Podcast that says, yeah, but those multiple versions are usually the ploity old sports games, which I can never understand. What is the real value? And having 3 to 4 different iterations of one game and your offering is so minute between the number that it doesn't just make sense. And, I kind of agree. Like, I don't know why they're overpricing these sports games, man.
Ugh.
Oh, man. By the way, thank you, GNR, for enjoying the Western section. Yeah, Rowdy's right. It's good because we don't have to act much. That is regular speak. Although, granted, I think I accidentally... I've been watching a show called Justified. You ever seen Justified?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there is a character on there that I think I accidentally sounded like a Boyd Crowder for a little bit, which is not a good person. I don't want to sound like him.
People around here really do sound like that, though.
Oh, absolutely. All right, guys. So that is that's the bonus points from Twitter. That's some of our friends of the podcast. We're going to move down to the Discords that we regularly hang out with. GW and the Lamer Gamers Discord. So we had we'll flop back and forth on these two. I'll start up with Good Twin from GW. He says, I think it's reasonable for some games to come in at that price. It was common for some N64 games to cost $70 back in the 90s. I believe we were talking about that earlier. And that didn't stop me from buying them back then. Increased cost of development alongside inflation makes a $70 price for some AAA games seem reasonable.
Look, I agree. But again, like I said about these $70 prices, they've got to pay their employees more. They've got to have better working environments if they're going to start charging $70. If they start missing deadlines and we start seeing reports of worker abuse and things like that, $70, man, you're not using it. All right.
Take the next one?
Next is Squidlord. It's reasonable until we find out that all the games costing $70 US are games like NBA 2K that already rely on the gambling mechanics, special editions, and season passes to make their money. Something like Spider-Man Miles Morales being $70 I can live with, but games with free-to-play mechanics have no right charging more like that. So, Something real quick, Spider-Man Miles Morales might not be a full-priced game.
There have been some rumors about that it's going to be shorter. I think there were some rumors that it was just DLC, but I think those have been slapped around by Sony.
So basically what I understand from what Sony put out is it's basically a not as long side story. It's kind of like what they did with the Uncharted series, where the main Uncharted series you play as Nathan Drake. Well, when they came out with Uncharted Lost Legacy, it was a shorter game and you played as other characters, basically a shorter side story. And that game came out for $40, so $20 cheaper than an actual game. So I'm hoping, Spider-Man Miles Morales is going to do that. We'll see.
All right, next up, I might let you do this next one because I gotta do the next one because it's not in my notes.
All right. So Owen Koenig states, already used to it with some early switch-taxed games. Not necessarily against it, as development costs rise, but I also agree with Squid. If you charge $70 for a game, you have no business putting microtransactions or similar monetization schemes inside the same game. Yeah.
He put MTX, and I swear I thought that was like the motocross thing.
No, microtransactions. God, Travis.
They better not be motocross games. Those stupid games.
You could buy any game out there, but you could pay to have motocross put in it.
Yes. All right. So the next one is evil twin. So at GW we have a good twin and an evil twin. I put some things I can't say on the podcast down for notes. But all right, he put in reply to what I'd put earlier, it's probably time based purely on inflation calculation alone. But although that data is a bit old, hourly wages for the vast majority of people who have been relatively stagnant. Buying power from the average gamer hasn't changed very much. You could also compare this to ridiculous smartphone prices. Apple went nuts for a few years, then realized they were pricing themselves out of people upgrading in a timely fashion. And there's been a huge move away from intense specialization in game development, which then we had Fried Shoes reply, yeah, but our water should cost $25 too. What are we even doing hoarding all of our cash? I'm pretty sure that was, you know, a joke. Then
No, they didn't write. They didn't write the S at the end of it, saying it was sarcastic.
oh, good point. Because there is no way to determine sarcasm on the internet. Everything is the God's honest truth if you say it. And I am a 20-foot tall giraffe man with spider arms. Yeah. Total truth, not sarcasm. All right. Evil Twin then replies, you aren't paying someone to actually figure out how the heck a Saturn Sega works and make games on it. You're paying people to use that same middleware as everyone else, which leads you into free to play. You can play Fortnite or Paladins competitively and not spend a dime. It gets harder to justify upping game prices when ostensibly free games are lucrative revenue generators. So, if anything, there should be a larger break from pretty much all games are X amount of dollars. Yeah, new Zelda or Grand Theft Auto, which is never going to come out again. I guess they're just going to sell the same one over and over, right? Probably ought to be $70. But your yearly Madden update should be $35 at this point.
You know what? That's actually not a bad idea. I
And then
mean, they won't do it, but
yeah, of course not. I mean, they're going to drop it down to $3 in about 6 months. Then you're going to find them in the resale stores just in stacks. I mean, I can go right now and go down to a resale store with a mask on, mind you, and find about 20 copies of NBA Live 95.
kind of like when you would go, into a GameStop and find those Burger King Xbox games years ago, like Sneak King or whatever the other ones were. They were ridiculous.
Man. So he ends up saying, "Oh, speaking of 2D games, that could be point on pricing. Look at something like Hollow Knight versus retro making Donkey Kong Country. Two guys made a Metroidvania you could play for 50 hours and sold it for $15.
Dude, for real.
Yeah. Dozens of people at Retro made a 15-hour game. They sold for 50. I think he was talking about the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze game.
Yeah.
Specifically. Yeah, it's absolutely true. It was just fancier graphics. All right, so we are moving down now to the Texas Discord. Do you want to take over the first one on this?
Yeah, this is from Pilaf? Palif?
Palf. Texas Discord.
I'll need to know what developers have added or done to make games cost another $10. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amici says costs haven't gone up for a decade, and at that time they've been the cheapest they have ever been. It sucks when prices go up, but this one is tough to argue against. And then they
statistics
happened. There's a quote. It says, I've made the argument over the last few years that games are essentially cheaper than they've ever been. An NES game in 1999 costs on average about $50. That's $89 in 2013 money. Who knows what it is in 2020 money?
Yeesh.
Your $70 N64 cartridges in 1998 would require the equivalent of $100 today. Amen to that. Heck, the $50 PlayStation 2 games you bought in 2005 is worth $60. The exact price of a typical retail game in 2013. This isn't to say that the salaries or hourly pay have kept up with inflation and the cost of living. It decidedly hasn't. But it is to say that dollar to dollar over the past 35 years, gaming hardware and software is generally cheaper than ever. Very good points, man. You want to hit up the next one?
This is Utin
Uttinger, I think.
Uttinger.
It's got a raccoon on the picture. That's all I know.
Nice. I was going to say cartridge prices were all over the place. SNES games as well as N64 games varied considerably. You know, I'd forgotten about that. Depending on the developer and stuff is how much some of those games cost.
Oh yeah, and that's whenever the MSRP really started coming into play.
Yeah.
Manufacturer suggested retail price. Nintendo was, and all the other companies, PlayStation did it too. It's like, we really want you to buy this game for this, but we know there's a Walmart out in the middle of nowhere that's got paneling covering up the video games that's selling them for $3,000 a piece,
Yeah.
or maybe 80. But yeah, that was a big thing. They had to get that out so people weren't getting gouged. Trip added also adjusted for inflation, they were way more expensive, which has been something that's been said throughout. So yeah, man, I mean, this has been the bonus point section. We gave you a topic that has been hotly contested. It is all over the place. And these are the thoughts on the internet. And it's one of those things that there's no like completely right or wrong answer in this. I think there's a lot of facets to this. There's a lot of different ways to look at this problem, this topic. And I think all these people have their good points. Like, I haven't seen any that I could completely disregard.
Yeah.
So, all right. You got anything else you want to add? Because that's pretty much it for the show for the day. It has been a long show.
Yeah, man, that's it for me.
All right, guys. We will be back next week. All things, if everything's cool, we'll either have a regular show or do a side quest. Really, just we're kind of taking things. I know we're looking at it each day. I know we're dealing with a massive gobbles infestation out here in Texas, so it's a little tricky to schedule things right now.
I've been getting called in for a lot of extra shifts.
Yeah. And then I start going back into the classroom after next week. Not in a full classroom, but like planning things. So I'm going to be further away from the internets. But anyway, we will be back next week. Make sure you check out Lamer Gamers Podcast on wherever you cast your pods. And also look for Lamer Gamer Bites if you want to check out just a section. And we will have this podcast ready to go on Monday if you're listening to it on the main show. Thanks again to all the people that helped out with the bonus points section. I will make sure that everybody knows that y'all are involved. And we will be back next week with the official podcast of the Lamers and Working Class Gamers at the Lamer Gamers Podcast.
Boom. Okay. Stop recording. 2 hours, 10 minutes.
I have 2 hours and 19 minutes, but I took a break.
Yeah.
All right. Lamer Gamers Direct is saving. I don't need to save it under finished shows. I need to save it for editing Travis out of the river. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream. Thank you, Skylar, for saying that we had a great show. Yes, we will try to stay safe and gobble free. The only way to prevent the gobbles is to blow dry your hair in the shower. Did you hear that, Rowdy?
Yes. Yeah. That will actually work.
That will work. I mean, technically. If you're listening to the show, don't do that.
Yeah, please don't.
That is not advice. Go get advice from your doctor. I don't care if it's science, Skylar. You might technically be right, but you might also technically kill people. Either way. All right, guys, I'm about to stop the stream. Thank y'all for checking it out. We had the week off last week. We've had some improvements. I'm giving y'all all sorts of a crazy look at the podcast. Anyway, we will see y'all next week. Thank y'all for checking it out, and y'all have a good one.